Hello, everyone. As you have probably figured out by now, I am developing a French language class for my practicum course. At this point, I have included most instructions, documents, and activities in both English and French, but most of what I have developed last semester is still only available in English. So, as part of my PLP for 590, I'm working on including both English and French versions of everything in my course. So I'll go ahead and just jump right in. My course is called Learning French, as you can see. For the content management portion of this unit, I had created some documents using Microsoft Word and PowerPoint for a web quest activity that I developed last semester. So I saved the documents as PDF files. I linked them in my course. You can see I usually use SoftChalk. I don't know if anyone's familiar with SoftChalk. I know that at least a few of you are familiar with SoftChalk, or I've showed some of my colleagues that are taking this class SoftChalk. So I usually use SoftChalk to design and import materials to my courses, and SoftChalk creates HTML documents. Of course, for this assignment, I did PDF files. And usually that's what I require my students to use because it's just so easy. Everyone can open PDF. I can download them. I can leave comments on them. Um, but SoftChalk lets you link documents. So what I did is I linked the documents I created in this web quest that I have designed using SoftChalk. And the two I made are right here. It's the ER verb conjugation and IR verb conjugation. I'll open them up. You can see they're PDFs. So this is just a Word document that I went ahead and saved as a PDF file. If I go back, you can see, oh, it catches up on the video there and it doesn't scroll. This is a PowerPoint file that I went ahead and saved, and so this is also for verb conjugations. And that's, like I said, it's a language class, so there's a lot of morphology and phonology and semantics and a lot of stuff that I go over. So, like I said, I tried to put them in English and French now, and I'm going back through and taking everything that I created before and putting it into French as well. I have it all in English. For the web links, let's see, right here is the web links. I have a lot of resources, and I think, as you can see, I have a lot more than we were required to actually put into the course for this class, but a lot of it is stuff that I added in last semester. And what I did for this unit is to create new categories. I created this morphology resources right here, and I created the learning communities resources. And then I added a few new links to the categories I had before. So I had KeyPal, technology, and then plagiarism resources that I've linked from last semester. At the bottom, you can see I have some uncategorized resources, and actually what happened is I had created links directly from other areas in the course. So rather than adding links in here in the links tool, maybe I was at the home page and I put add a link and I typed the link there, it threw them down into uncategorized. So I'm going to have to go back and actually I guess put those into categories or create new categories as I see fit. So for the assignments and assessments part of the unit, it was kind of fun. It was different for me. I usually don't use these tools in my course design. So let me go here. What I'm doing for this class right now is I've started a phonetics unit. Um, for the assignment part, I created an activity that requires students to create a voice thread, and they're going to create that presentation about French vowels and then record themselves speaking an example word using each of the vowel sounds in French. So if I go down here, you will go ahead and see activity voice thread. And this has the directions, and of course I shared those directions with everyone in our own discussion. And it has a fairly simple rubric that I created for actually assessing the assignment. So this rubric right here, I've also made it as a grading form, and I'll show you guys that. I attached that to the actual assignment in the assignments tool. And so, like I said, what they're going to do is just go ahead and they're going to do each of the vowel sounds, record a word of their voice actually saying it. And if they go up to the readings, I'll just quickly show you guys. There's going to be one that I created myself, and it actually has the vowels, so they'll actually know what the actual IPA transcription is and an example of the vowel. But if they go into another reading here, it's from UCLA Phonetics Lab, they can actually go into the index of languages, they can select French, and there's French vowels here. And if they actually click on any of these, there's actually a native speaker that will go ahead and read the word to them so they can hear the audio how it actually sounds. And so they're going to mimic that or make that same sound for me in their actual assessments. So they can access the assessment right here. It's called vowels. They could also go over here to assessments and get it. And what they would do is just simply provide their link to their voice thread, so they would share that to me here, and I could go ahead and go in and listen to those and comment. And just real quickly, I'll show you my grading form, and it's for the vowel voice thread, and it's basically the same. You can see it has the same point system or structure that I actually put inside the learning module. So let me go back to the learning module here, and I will show you the assessment. And what I did for the assessment part is I created a pre-assessment, and I used the quiz tool just like we were told to, and it would go ahead and just see what the students actually know about phonetics before we jumped in. So you can see I have the directions here. It says how to access it. They can access their pre-assessment here, or they could go over here, of course, to the assessments, and you see I have phonetics pre-assessment. So, um, it was hard for me, I guess, because I don't usually make traditional types of assessments. So I actually did have to go in and I read through the readings. I brought out some books from when I was doing my degree in education, and I used those to really help me develop questions that promote critical thinking. And I use all types of questions. I'll show you here. Um, Here's just like a fill in paragraph type, matching, fill in the blank, multiple choice, true, false. I used pretty much every kind that there was in there, and of course, some of you guys are in 590 with me, and so when I went back, I created our traditional assessment for that class as a post-assessment, and I used the same content, and I made an assessment. It was a lot easier for me then. I think the pre-assessment was hard because I am really making the content up as I go. So doing the post-assessment, it was already there, and I could go in and pull out ideas that I wanted students to know. So I guess that kind of makes sense, and that's kind of what I did. So for the communications, of course, I did a discussion and a chat. I'll go back here real quick into my phonetics module. And for the discussion tool, I went ahead and created a KWL. It's a what I know, what I want to know, what I learned activity. And of course, I've shared those directions with you guys, but I'll go ahead and just scroll down to show you that I have the directions here so the students would know what they need to do. And basically, the students would start out their unit by posting what they know and what they want to know about phonetics into the discussion topic. And of course, here it is, the phonetics KWL. At the end of the unit, the students would of course come back and say what they did learn, and they would synthesize what they learned throughout the unit. And they can access it, like I said, right here on the contents, just like we do in our classes, or they could go to the discussions and they'll see the other discussions. Phonetics KWL is there. So you can see the actual directions are posted here so the students don't have to go back to the module when they want to actually know what they're doing. So for the chat tool, I created a group activity, and the students are going to be grouped. Let me just scroll down there to my chat. The students will be grouped by their actual discussion. So what they actually said, this is what I want to know in the KWL discussion, I would go ahead and have them grouped together by students with common interests. So they could work together towards learning something that's really meaningful to them. And in the chat tool, like I said, it's groups. They're expected to meet once each week so they can discuss their progress towards meeting group goals, individual goals, talk about what they're doing, what they're learning, and any questions they might have. And what they would do is, of course, then at the end, they would put a synthesis of what they learned in their group into their KWL discussion. So the chat is actually tied to their discussion. And if you go into the actual chat tool, you can see I have phonetics chat group 1, phonetics chat group 2. And of course, if I had more students, I could make more rooms so they could actually be tied to their groups. And I went in and just did with the release criteria. I don't actually believe I have groups in here right now, so it might not even pull up for me. But I would go ahead and just add the group, of course, so only the students in group 1 would access that chat, or the students in group 2 could access their own chat. So in the actual learning module, just for these two activities, the discussion and the chat, I have included a couple of resources. So one, I did use the actual Blackboard help pages. So you can see here's Blackboard discussion how to, and that'll pull up over here the how to actually create messages in the discussion, how to reply. And then for the chat, I did the same, the Blackboard chat room. So this has the chat help, how to enter the chat, how to actually use the tool. I also just shared with them a suggestion of my own. It's called Doodle, and it's just a scheduling tool, and this might help them with their group. They can all go in and check which times they're available and see what times they might actually meet as a group. So those are some resources that I put in for this actual activity. And the last thing I guess we did in this unit is our gradebook. And gradebook was, I'd say, probably one of the easiest ones for me. I'd say it might be one of the easiest ones for most of us, especially those of us that are actually teaching and using Blackboard right now. And I use this all the time. I use the gradebook with all of my classes. It's so easy because my students can see their grades. I can see their grades. I don't have to create another gradebook or write things down. And usually, like I said before, I don't use the assignments and the assessments that are built into Blackboard, so usually I actually have to go in and add my own columns to the gradebook. So that wasn't an issue. The only one I actually did add in is this one right over here, the group chat. The rest of the actual columns in my gradebook were assessments or assignments that I created using Blackboard. So for the calculated column, of course, since we had to do that, I just did a sum of the total points, show you over here, just sum, and then I clicked in all the activities that I did. Um, I'm assuming, and well, not assuming, I know I will have to change this later. In my syllabus, I actually put the way that we'll do grading is that, say, discussion activities are this much, or a weight of the grade. Media that they create are going to be a percentage of the grade, etc. So everything is going to be a weight. So I'll have to go back and actually change that, um, I guess, when the time comes and I have more assignments and activities put into my course. So that's basically what I've developed for this class 580 so far. And there's a lot more stuff in my course, as you can see. A lot of it was developed for 581 and 590 that I'm taking this semester. Some other stuff I added in last semester for 560 and 570. So I know some of you have already been given access to my course. You wanted to look around, and you gave me access to your course so I could look around. If you haven't and you want to go ahead and explore my course, just send me a message, and of course I will share that access with you. So that's about it. I'll talk to you guys all later.